his legs behind his head, and the girl sits on top of him. And I was thinking, oh, like, that sounds very difficult to put your legs behind your head. And I went, interesting. And he goes, well, you gotta have a big dick to do it.
Welcome to MKUSUal. It's Tuesday Newsday. It's like MK Ultra, but more normal.
We got all the best news, or whatever. I'm never gonna do a Trump impression again.
Yeah, yesterday was a big day. We celebrated historic anniversary. And also my brother's birthday. He was conceived at the insurrection.
Oh, good for him.
He was, I don't know.
I have like kind of a different segment to start this off on. Unless you have something to say.
Let's do it. I'm just fucking winging it.
All right.
I'm just feeling patriotic. I got my Guantanamo Bay shirt on.
Our computers block things.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just got Cuba with an American flag planted in Cuba on Guantanamo Bay.
It's a good find. You have the best finds.
Yeah.
This is kind of a news event that happened starting on January 1st, 2025. I thought I'd just throw it out there and get your take on it before we do the random stories. January 1st is Public Domain Day. So public domain is by the year stuff is created. So every year, new stuff falls into public domain.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
here's some characters. Popeye is now public domain.
Okay.
All right. The Adventures of Tintin.
Not as cool.
Buck Rogers. Although Buck Rogers, apparently they like fucked up the copyright and it's been in public domain for a long time, but had they not fucked it up, it would be in public domain.
Okay.
Here's some books. A Farewell to Arms. The Sound and the Fury. You'll like this one. Aleister Crowley's Magic in Theory and Practice.
Interesting.
Now, public domain. Singing in the Rain. Some works of Duke Ellington. And last but not least, our one and only copyright strike on YouTube.
No
As
way.
of January 1st.
No way.
Tiptoe Through the Fucking Tulips.
Dude.
Is copyright free, baby.
I want our money back, YouTube.
Although I don't know if that, like, sometimes with, this is bullshit. I found this out the hard way on, copyright stuff is weird. I'm not speaking as a lawyer. I'm speaking as a guy who creates content sometimes. I found out the hard way that you can have something like Tiptoe Through the Tulips obviously wasn't written by Tiny Tim. He was covering it.
Yes.
So, like...
And even the version we played was like a different, anyway.
Yeah, whatever. But we're still mad about it, you do. We're still mad.
Yeah.
But not anymore, baby.
Now it's our intro song.
Now it's our fucking intro song. I just thought I'd throw that out there. In fact, I did this whole segment just to do that last.
Popeye's cool. My dad likes Popeye, and he named one of his dogs.
I loved Popeye as a kid.
Yeah, same. He named one of his dogs Popeye, and then that dog got ran over by a truck and lost one of his eyes.
Oh, wow.
Literally popped his eyeball out of his head.
Okay, that's a good story.
He lived a long life after that, but just careful what you name your loved ones.
Yeah. That's a good...
I'm gonna name my first son Huge Cockman. I'm gonna name my first daughter Appropriately Sized Labias.
I think, honestly, if I were to ever interact with one of these in, like, a serious way, I think it'd be interesting to do something with Aleister Crowley's book.
Like summon a demon?
No, like make a weird hipster version of it, or like a kid's book version of it, or
Okay.
something weird. If I was trying to profit off these.
Who wrote The Sound and the Fury?
I'm so uneducated.
It's just so familiar.
William Faulkner.
Okay. Farewell to Arms was, yeah.
I guess, I don't know. We can discuss this off air. I guess, people, they're going to start making, they've already announced 2 different studios have announced Popeye horror movies. Because that's what they do now. Like when Winnie the Pooh went public domain, it was like, Winnie the Pooh's got to kill some people now.
Yeah.
It's a big cop out.
I've seen the preview for the Popeye one. Look, I don't know. kind of hate it, but
I hate it. I hate that it's just the easiest thing you can do is make it sexy or violent, and then you know it's gonna suck. They're just like, I made a Popeye movie because I can. Like, okay. Anyway, that was my segment on public domain. Now, Nick, normal times we have. I have 10 stories. They're all over the fucking place. Just pick a number between 1 and 10. I'll keep track.
We're going to start with number 8.
All right. Oh, this is a fun one. A bank robber flees on foot after his bike is stolen during failed bank robbery. Oof. Not having a good day. Not a good day for this bank robber in Hamilton.
He should have learned from Luigi Mangione and paid for an e-bike.
Yeah. You can't steal those. They lock up.
Yep. You can turn it off.
One day Cartman had an e-bike and he was pedaling it with all his might. And it was kind of working a little bit. An alleged would-be thief was left without a getaway vehicle after another thief stole it mid-robbery. They responded to a robbery call at the Bank of Montreal branch of the Upper Paradise Road around 12:30 p.m. Officers said a man who arrived on a bicycle entered the bank and passed a note demanding cash to the bank teller. Police also alleged the man verbally threatened the employee and made a motion that he had a weapon on him. Fellow bank employees confronted the man, and he left empty-handed. This is a Canadian story. You can tell he was being very polite.
Right.
He's like, hey, I got a weapon, eh? And they're like, hey, don't do that. And he's like, okay. And he turns around and leaves, and he's like, hey, somebody stole my bike. Upon exiting the bank, police said the attempted robber discovered his bike had been stolen. So he then fled on foot. Yeah, I guess at the time of this article, they hadn't found him, actually.
Interesting.
This polite bank robber ended up the victim of a crime that day.
Do you think he stole the bike to get there, or do you think it was his bike?
I would assume Montreal, like many big cities, is probably just fucking cesspool. And he probably didn't chain up his bike because he needed to get away fast, and probably had about 3 minutes before that shit got stolen by a homeless person or something.
True.
But yeah, anyway, all right. Any thoughts? Is there a giant helicopter going by outside? Do you hear that?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to pick up. I'm interested in if that'll pick up. Anyway.
Yeah. I will just say, personally, every bike I've ever owned has been stolen. Some of them locked up and some of them not. And
every bike I've had, like, in the city has.
Yeah.
Just 2. But.
I guess every bike I've had since I was an adult.
Yeah.
And very frustrating. Some of them were sentimental. Some of them I worked hard for. Nice.
I know. I spent like $200 or $300 in college on one. It got stolen. It was locked up. God, it pisses me off.
Yep.
Anyway, that was 8. Next.
2.
Are you feeling lucky? All right, 2. Oh, all right. This one's a bummer. Bummer, dude. It's from Live Science. Bat poop used to grow cannabis.
Guano.
Kills 2 in New York in unusual cases. They say weed can't kill you. But 2 men from Rochester, New York, who grew their own cannabis died from pneumonia after being exposed to harmful fungus in the bat poop they used as fertilizers. Both men based in Rochester shared a love of Mary Jane, quote unquote. I love when you read an article written by like the most square person in the world. Like, I don't smoke weed, but I'm not gonna be like,
they love
if
the
I reference
sticky
weed,
icky.
Yeah, if I reference weed in an article, like they literally put it in quotes. They're like, Mary Jane, and cultivated their own cannabis plants for personal use. They each developed a condition called histoplasmosis after breathing in spores from the bat poop or guano. The first man, 59 years old, had purchased guano online to use as fertilizer. The other man, 64, was intending to fertilize his cannabis plants with guano he'd found in the attic following a heavy bat infestation.
Oh, these were 2 separate cases.
2 separate dudes died of bat poop after smoking the ganja. The men developed an array of symptoms from their infections, including fever, blah, 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 all the shit that comes with that. The doctors who treated them said their deaths should serve as a warning about the potential dangers of using bat guano as fertilizer. I've never heard of doing that. Given recent legalization and the expected increase in home cultivation of cannabis, along with the promotion of bat guano for this purpose, it's important to raise public awareness. This is some hippie, like... I didn't realize there's like a concerted campaign to get people to use bat guano in their homes. This is some like unpasteurized milk shit.
But yeah, bats smell horrible. And like,
like, it's natural, man. Use the bat guano. Don't use the big guys.
Yeah, but there's like natural fertilizers that you can.
The guy who just went and scooped it out of his attic, that's fucking disgusting.
Right.
That's like if your house is full of rats and you're like, I'll use this to grow flowers. Like, what? What are you doing? Yeah, not good. You don't want this disease. Not trying to bring the show down too much. Of course, they were old. They had other things like emphysema before catching it.
I was going to say they're probably...
They both had histories of tobacco and smoking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well,
people, the CDC recommends, CDC always meddling in people's freedoms, recommends not avoiding engaging activity that brings you in contact with chicken coops and bat droppings.
wait, they say don't,
Yeah,
don't grow your own food.
Yeah. Okay, well that was
my
terrifying.
takeaway there. CDC says,
They hate freedom.
hate freedom. They hate you having a nutrient-rich diet, grown on your own land. Please buy our neon-colored poison.
They hate you cultivating bats in your attic and using their poop to grow your shit in your living room.
Yeah. It just seems like, well, it probably was just negligent behavior. That, like, they probably bought like way too much, or there's like ambient mold and shit in the air, right?
Also, like they're like long-term smokers and they're old.
Yeah.
Like, I do a lot of shit now that I probably would not be thinking about at 50. Like being outside when it's super cold. You know what I mean? Like you just become fragile.
Well, yeah. If you like, I respectfully disagree, but
Okay.
I think it's like, I think
Break
like,
down. No, I'm just kidding.
well, you do, but also like you can like make yourself more resilient. with,
Okay.
like good diet and exercise and
You'd be an old
not
looker.
smoking cigarettes and hanging out in bat infested attics and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they tried to make this about weed.
Yeah.
Really, it's about playing with bat shit.
Being a smoker
Being
for
a smoker.
probably 50 years at
Who
least.
plays
Like,
with bat shit?
yeah.
It's not the Mary Jane live science.
Yeah. All right.
All right, next.
10.
We might get through all of them. All right. I put this one in here based on our last Wednesday episode where we
Okay.
were talking about Keanu Reeves scamming all these people, the fake
Okay.
Keanu Reeves. Johnny Depp has spoken out after online scammers pretending to be him took $350,000 in schemes. This is from People Magazine. He says, neither myself, my team, my agent, nor my family will ever contact you on my behalf asking for money or your personal information. He said, this is what Keanu Reeves, I'm doing this because Keanu Reeves, you got to do this, buddy. Johnny Depp is warning about the ongoing social media scams, using his name against his fan base. He wished his followers a happy new year, while also alerting fans about people impersonating him. Sadly, it has been brought to my attention that online scammers are intensifying their efforts to target my fans and supporters. As part of their tactics, they create multiple deceptive social media and email accounts impersonating me Depp explained that modern artificial intelligence is able to create the illusion of my face and voice. I didn't consider that. But neither I or my team will ever ask for money or your personal information. Gizmo published a report in December of 2024 that 197 complaints were made to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, about last year alone about scammers posing as Depp. One person in Alabama lost $350,000. Another listed $200,000. And another $175,000.
Cool million. That's like, well,
These people.
I almost don't feel bad unless, I mean, if they've got 350 grand to throw around, that's more money than I've made in my lifetime.
I mean, these people got to be like widowers, right? A lot of them.
It has to be.
Lonely. They have like money that maybe they're not good with money, but they have it.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp wants to get down to take you to Pound Town, but first he's got to like pay off some gambling debts, and you're the chick. It's obviously the dumbest thing in the world. What did we learn last week? That the Keanu Reeves was like $1 billion industry of people pretending to be Keanu Reeves. Yeah, I would love to see. Oh, this is interesting. Several celebrities have spoken out in recent months to warn of fraudulent accounts claiming to be them. Tom Hanks, no surprise. Brad Pitt, Whoopi Goldberg. Who the fuck? Okay, if you have given money to fake Whoopi Goldberg, I need to talk to you and know what makes you tick. Who is so horny over Whoopi Goldberg?
See, that one I thought of like brainwashed The View. It has to be playing into like a political angle. It can't be a horny angle.
Man, Whoopi Goldberg scam, fake Whoopi Goldbergs online. Okay, I'm not finding much. Maybe that's a fake thing and she just wanted to feel relevant. And she's like, hey guys, I know you're all horny for old Whoopi here. You want to send me money, but don't do it. Yeah, I can't find any articles about it, but she did come out.
Interesting.
And say, don't give money to fake Whoopi Goldbergs.
I do not want to make Whoopi with you.
The other ones kind of make sense. I'm trying to think of like what kind of like lonely ass old dude. Anyway. All right, you want to move on?
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I don't want to think about Whoopi Goldberg anymore.
Let's leave that in 2024. Okay, next. You've done 8, 2, and 10.
1.
1, all right. This one's kind of fun. Read this yesterday. It's from MSN. This one hit all the presses, though. United Airlines business class passenger urinates on stranger midway through long-haul flight before begging him not to press charges. A business class passenger.
Okay, first of all, why do they have to call him a business class passenger?
Yeah, why are we money shaming him?
This is some elitist
Yeah, wait, yeah, I
class war bullshit.
didn't even think of that. This is the kind
Sorry,
of thing that
sorry.
only. This is what when they read the thing, they're like, oh my god, they're like working on the New York Times or whatever. They're like, somebody peed on somebody on a jet, and they're like, well,
That's not
it couldn't
gonna
have
sell.
been first class. It had to be a business class person.
First class would urinate on the staff.
Yeah.
Business class.
Yeah, that is weird.
Savage pissing in all directions.
I read this like 24 hours ago, and that never occurred to me how fucking weird that is.
We had the curtain closed in first class, and he stuck his penis through and urinated.
Maybe
it.
they do pee on each other in first class, and that's why they have to differentiate it so that people who fly first class
is
are
a
like, yeah, we pee on each other all the time.
It's a service that's offered.
Yeah. And they're like, they're doing that in business class? Maybe it's some freaky business.
I want to hear the...
Okay, a business class passenger
Sorry.
has been banned from all United Airlines flights after urinating on a sleeping fellow traveler during a long-haul journey from San Francisco to the Philippines. The incident occurred December 27th when Jerome Gutierrez from Hillsborough, California, that's the other thing I'll mention here in a minute, was asleep in his business class seat. Why do they keep saying this?
Headline, first line, second line.
Every sentence so far, it said business class. During what was meant to be a 15-hour flight, Gutierrez woke up to find himself soaked from the stomach down in another man's urine.
It's a voracious stream.
4 hours into the journey, he was asleep and buckled up, was surprised when he looked at the man and thought he was dreaming, his stepdaughter said. The perpetrator, who was reportedly a complete stranger, had chosen to relieve himself directly on the sleeping passenger rather than using the aircraft's facilities. Flight attendants provided Gutierrez with pajamas to change into after the incident. The crew warned him not to approach the man who had urinated on him, fearing a potential confrontation could turn violent. We have banned the passengers, said a representative. Police were requested to meet the aircraft upon its arrival in Manila. Cornell strongly criticized United Airlines' handling of the biohazard situation. She said, "I am so disgusted and in shock," his niece is Cornell, "with how United Airlines handled this. This is a biohazard. The plane should have turned around to address the issue." I don't know about that. I don't know about that, dude. I'm sorry you got peed on by a Filipino.
A biohazard?
Who hasn't been peed on by a Filipino in business class? This is what you get for taking business class. The riffraff. They defecate on each other.
They're dehydrated yellow urine because they can't afford the bottles of water on the plane.
They put the needs of the airline before my stepdad's health. According to reports, the perpetrator attempted to avoid legal consequences by begging Gutierrez for forgiveness and pleading him not to press charges.
So where would he go to jail if he...
United Airlines confirmed the incident as passenger disturbance. I don't know. I don't know. Here's the other weird thing about this article.
They would have been like over the ocean, right?
Yes. Every single person that's pointed this out, they mention every person, the victim, his family. They never name the guy who pissed on the guy.
Yes.
Which is another oddity about this. There's just so much wrong with this story. I don't know how to...
Yeah, why? That's like humiliating for the guy who got peed on.
And then they told him, like, don't approach him. We don't want you getting violent. They should have let him punch the guy.
Right. Like, hey, I'm not going to press charges if I get to punch you as hard as I can.
Philippines, man peed on a flight. I want to know if there'll be, like, Philippines. And it didn't say he got arrested. I wonder, I don't know what the law is. You're like over international waters, maybe everything goes.
Did they say, they didn't say where the passenger was from, if he was, visiting the Philippines or returning
That's true. I just assumed he was from the Philippines because in my mind, if he's like a foreign national, like that would explain why they're being so sensitive about like... But this isn't just like, when I first read this headline, I thought maybe they fell asleep, like they're packed into business class, like the sardines that they are, and then he peed and it got like on his pants, onto the other guy's pants. Like this dude had to stand up and just flat out fucking pee on this guy.
He got, well, it said he was soaked from the stomach down.
Yeah, which is exactly where if you stood up and just started pissing on somebody who was sitting down, that's where you'd hit. Every single article says executive class, business class. What is going on?
What was the thing the other day? Was it United that, no, it was American. They had to like ground all their flights and then they had like, they kept all the article, I didn't follow up, but they were saying they had technical issue, but none of the articles named what the issue was, and then they just canceled all the flights for like a day. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
It was around the holiday time.
This article says the man was drunk.
That's
I mean, that should go without saying.
It kind of goes without saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the guy's name or anything about him, and it's just
Huge piss freak.
yeah, nothing about him. I don't know why he had to be like blackout drunk. He had to be like blackout drunk and like stood up on the plane.
Maybe they were like, maybe it was, I don't know. Yeah.
And
He
then
definitely,
he's just like, I'll just pee here in the aisle. I don't know. Very disturbing. I would be livid. I would want this. This is the type of shit where that guy sued United Airlines for like $1 million. I'd be like, yeah.
yeah.
I'd be like, all right. You got peed on. Very vile. But that's what you get for not flying first class. All right. You've done 8, 2, 10, 1.
Let's go with 4.
We're barreling through this. We're probably going to get through like... Okay, this is from BBC. It's a mystery article. I didn't label it. Another drunken man story. Drunken Zambian policeman, that's from the BBC, freed 13 suspects to celebrate the new year. A drunken police officer in Zambia freed 13 suspects from custody so that they could go and celebrate the New Year's. Officials say detective inspector was arrested after releasing the suspects from the police station before running away himself.
Detective inspector seems a little redundant.
The 13 detainees were accused of crimes such as assault, robbery, and burglary. They're currently on the run, and a manhunt has been launched to find them. Spokesman for the police said in a state of intoxication, he forcibly seized cell keys from a constable. Subsequently, the detective inspector unlocked both the male and female cells and instructed the suspects to leave, stating they were free to cross over into the new year. He's just having a time. Out of the 15 suspects in custody, 13 escaped. 2 were smart. The officer fled the scene. He has not yet commented on the allegations. Reacting to the incident, former presidential spokesperson and lawyer Dixon Jaree wrote on Facebook, "I keep laughing each time I picture the scenario. Comical. But then I remember a similar incident in 1997. Turns out on New Year's Eve 1997, High Court Judge Kabazo Chanda ordered the release of 53 suspects, some of whom were deemed dangerous by police. Chanda was annoyed that the suspects had been arrested a long time ago, but had not appeared in court. Justice delays, justice denied." It's probably very dysfunctional.
Yeah. I agree with the judge, though. They said that they had been arrested in 92, and it was 97. They hadn't seen a judge. I would be upset if I was in jail for 5 years without a trial.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. Got a text from New York. That's weird. Let's see here. All right. Let's do one more, then. Let's get to desk jokes. We need to start advertising desk jokes at the beginning of these episodes.
Yep.
Okay, I'll give you
Stick
one.
around
Give you
a
one
little
more.
longer. Let's go with number 7.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is kind of a funny. Okay, I included this one because I want to do maybe a longer thing on it someday.
Okay.
The headline is, residents report strange effects from pharmaceutical plant emissions in Irish town. I'm just going to give you the name of the town. It's Ringaskiddy, Ireland. Here's the thing.
Sounds like they were already on drugs.
Yeah. So this was on like the forum I was using to find weird news, and it was like the top story of the day. But it turns out the story has been going on since the 90s. It's Ringaskiddy, Ireland. And since the 90s, you want to guess what drug they manufacture there? It's a very popular drug.
Viagra?
Yes. That's the town where they make all the Viagra. and there's smoke and shit, and the shit coming out of the Viagra factory, basically. This is a real thing. And for the last, like, I guess, 2 or 3 decades.
If you have an erection lasting longer than 2 decades.
Yeah. Men have been complaining that they'll just, like, randomly be getting hard in this town. They even, like, at one point, someone was working on a movie about it.
That's hilarious.
It's technically not a news story. It's just like an ongoing forever story. But yeah, so that's a fun ring skiddity Ireland, home of Viagra. All right.
That was a guy with his wife at the grocery store. He's like, you looking at the, she's like giving him shit for
yeah.
Like, no, babe, it's the boner mist that envelops our town. Like, you're always saying the boner mist.
There's a town in Ireland with boner mist. This would explain this mysterious fog.
We just get like bubonic plague mist here, and smart dust mist and poison mist. I'd take boner mist for like a week or something.
Oh yeah,
nice change of pace.
Boner mist. Just go take a nice walk with your boner.
Put on my gray sweatpants and go to the grocery store.
But everyone has. Everyone in the town is like hunched over their carts. Like, hey, friend.
Pushing it down.
Nobody wants to go outside. All right, desk jokes. We save all the serious stories for the desk.
Yeah,
we do like exclusively wacky stories for the main episode.
Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I will start, I guess. Okay. This one's goofy. I'll do political news. On Monday, January 6th, Kamala Harris certified the election of Donald J. Trump as the nation's 47th president. As opposed to the last certification, there was no insurrection. However, Donald Trump did report having an inch erection. Donald Trump with a small pee-pee joke.
It's all that blood in his big-ass pumpkin head. Kim Jong-un, the supreme thickness of North Korea, turns 41 this week. Say what you will about the guy, but he's the only millennial with good health care.
Oh, shit. That's good. Wow, we are like throwing this shit. Wow, we're getting too good at throwing these. More political news. President Biden awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to 19 recipients this week. Notably among them, Hillary Clinton and George Soros. Joe, if you need help, please blink once. Ever. We are good at this.
How can they call him sleepy if he can't blink, Rowan Atkinson turned 70 this week, best known for his role as Mr. Bean, the man who discovered the clitoris.
I guess I wrote a lot of political. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has resigned as Prime Minister after 9 years. In his farewell speech, he lamented missed opportunities, but did remind the nation that we'll always have the memory of that time I trampled an old lady with a horse. And that really happened.
I know.
That really happened during COVID.
All that Okay. Anyway, moving on. Chiefs news. Disappointing loss for the Chiefs this week. They lost 38-0 to the Denver Broncos. The last time someone took a pounding that bad from a horse was when Harrison Butker's wife fucked a horse.
Ongoing jokes. You gotta go back and watch all the old Tuesday Newsdays to get it. The 2025 Golden Globes took place this week. That is, of course, the event where Hollywood pats itself on the back for a year where only 90% of them were implicated in horrific crimes. We have a point of view on this.
This is just sad but true. Albert Hoffman, the Swiss chemist who synthesized LSD, would have been 120 on the 11th. His discovery led to multiple human rights abuses, like the famous MK Ultra experiments and the banned Fish.
That's good. And more music news, Marilyn Manson.
Oh.
Shock rocker turns 56 this week. He plans to remove another rib so that he can bend over to pick up the remote. All right. I got one more left. What do you got?
Okay. George Foreman, the former heavyweight champion, turned 76 this week. He holds a special place in my heart for creating that thing I like to smush my penis with.
The meat waffle iron. Nicolas Cage, the greatest actor who ever lived, turned 60 years old this week. He plans to celebrate by stealing the Elephant Man's bones. This is stupid.
Kansas City road crews are out plowing the 13 inches we received this week. The last time 13 inches got plowed this hard was when Carson Wentz offered himself in the Amazonian position to Harrison Butker's wife.
He had to explain to me what that... Get this bullshit, folks. He had to explain to me... He had to explain to me what the Amazonian position was. I don't own a Kama Sutra. I'm sorry. And he says, it's when the man puts his legs behind his head and the girl sits on top of him. And I was thinking, oh, like, that sounds very difficult to put your legs behind your head. And I went, interesting. And he goes, well, you got to have a big dick to do it. So thanks, Nick.
I wasn't implying.
You should be a sex ed teacher.
I wasn't implying anything.
I was like, okay.
I was implying you weren't flexible, so
Well, this was a fun episode. All right. Onward and upwards. We love you. Tune in tomorrow for Advice Wednesday. Like and subscribe. Like and fucking subscribe.
Please like and subscribe.
Please. Please.
I'm trying to afford yoga classes so I can do the Amazonian position.
I'm trying to afford the other thing you need to do the Amazonian position.
We love you. Bye.